dealt a blow to Aswad's leg, before quickly striking again to finish him off.
Oh, Hamza! Guys, so many of you, at least so many of my Islamic viewers have been telling me
the expansion of the Islamic religion
to do this, so I'm gonna do it because, frankly speaking, honestly, you know, Islamic history, very entertaining, very entertaining, right?
Sequential developments in recorded history. From the 7th century onwards, it has gone to impact regions across.
Yo, I just clocked something, bro. I just now realized how close the Arabian Peninsula is to India. What the heck? Bro, I didn't realize that they were, wow.
But all of the military and intellectual grandeur associated with Islamic empires that came and went over the centuries began with a battle of humble proportions, but immense consequences.
Really?
In 624 AD, a fledgling group of a few hundred Muslims, under their leader Muhammad, made a stand against the powerful Quraysh tribe.
Okay.
Dry, arid valley of Badr in western Arabia, the Muslims arrayed for battle, putting their faith in a man who claimed to be the prophet of a new monotheistic religion. This video is brought to you by Conqueror's Blade. Master the art of medieval warfare in this free-to-play tactical.
Look, the game looks cool, but I don't really play games that much. Okay, I'm on my grind. Quite literally, I am. In fact, I actually have to do a little announcement about that. Probably coming very soon. Because that's actually going to impact the way how I upload my videos. Although I talked a little bit about it in my previous announcement when I was going to upgrade my equipment. But still, I have more to talk about that actually.
In 610 AD, a 40-year-old merchant by the name of Muhammad was sitting in a cave outside of the city of Mecca, where he regularly went to meditate. There, it was said that the angel Gabriel came to him and proclaimed that he had been chosen as a messenger of God.
Okay, so we get into the origins of Muhammad. Okay, that's cool, because I always never knew the origins of Muhammad, and I've always been curious about Muhammad.
Muhammad hailed from the Banu Hashim clan and was a member of a family that had produced numerous tribal chiefs for the most powerful tribe in Mecca, the Quraysh. The tribe sourced their power from the control they had over trade on the western coast of Arabia.
Typical.
The reach of their merchants extended far beyond the Arabian Peninsula, into the Levant and Mesopotamia. Muhammad himself partook in the trade between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean, and became known as the Trustworthy for his honesty and impartial resolution of disputes.
Hey! Muhammad a bit like me.
Soon after receiving
all the honest people are hated though.
Muhammad began preaching the message of Islam to the citizens of Mecca. At first, his monotheistic message was...
You know what? That would actually make sense, you know, that God chose him because he's honest. That would actually make a lot of sense if God actually chose him.
Regarded by many of the Quraysh, some of whom ignored and mocked his preaching. Nevertheless, a small number of converts joined his cause, and Muhammad focused his efforts on building a small community with strong spiritual bonds. He stressed the need for a moral responsibility of man towards his creator. He vividly described the Day of Judgment and spoke against the idols worshipped by the pagan Meccans, claiming that their fathers died in disbelief and faced perdition. As his more converts, he and his followers...
Wow, this is actually really cool to learn about. And this is actually quite interesting. It's very interesting. Very interesting, honestly.
Were perceived as a threat by the local tribal leaders and rulers of Mecca. This was when the Quraysh opposition arose against the Prophet, who profited significantly from the annual pilgrimage to the Kaaba and feared they would be overthrown by Muhammad. Trying to stop his preaching, some of the high-ranking Quraysh leaders tried bribing him by offering a higher position in the tribal structure and an advantageous marriage. But Muhammad refused. This
bro, he saw the light.
Rift between his Islamic faction and the Quraysh tribe. Consequently, his followers faced persecution. Some were exiled, while others faced torture. Several attempts were made on Muhammad's life. At this time, however...
But you see, Muhammad's the main character, right? Allah is the author of the story, right? Or God, right? God is the author of the story. And Muhammad, he made Muhammad the main character. Like, honestly, I honestly do believe that the whole Islamic Caliphate's expanding so rapidly. I honestly believe that was all like in the work of God. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Muhammad's uncle, Abu Talib, was the leader of the Banu.
I'll talk more about that later, though.
He was able to offer protection to his nephew, much to the dissatisfaction of other Quraysh leaders. But despite Abu's best efforts, the nascent Muslim community faced further violence. And in
just like Christianity. Just like Christianity. Very, very similar origins of Christianity. Hey, bro, at least he didn't get crucified like Jesus.
For some of his followers to seek shelter in the kingdom of Aksum and found a small colony from where they could conduct trade under the protection of the Christian king, Al-Nagashi.
Wow! I always knew that Christianity was in this region, but wow, wow, the irony. I mean, it's kind of ironic, you know? It's very ironic. That's, wow, Christians. I mean, it's not too insane. Don't get me wrong. It's not too insane. But what would happen later with the whole crusades and all of that? That's why I say that's extremely ironic, because he doesn't know that what he just did is a huge butterfly effect, you know? Big butterfly effect. Wow. That's why I say that's ironic. Wow.
However, things
that's cool though.
4 years later, in 619, when Abu...
Also, love the fact that History March pointed out that Christianity was in Africa. A lot of people tend to forget that Christianity was in Africa before it came to Europe.
Talib died, and with him went the protection he had offered to Muhammad. Now, at the whim of the Quraysh, the Prophet and his followers suffered violent prejudice and persecution. But by now, word had spread beyond Mecca of the coming of a prophet. To the north, the tribes of the city of Yathrib invited a delegation of Muslims to teach them the instructions of Islam. They then pledged their allegiance and had sworn to accept Muhammad as a prophet, bound in worship to none but one God, thereby becoming known as the Ansar, meaning the helpers.
Bro, this is so freaking cool. Wild to me how, like, because we know, like, the Arabian Peninsula as, you know, like, super Islamic, right? Like, like when you think of Arabia or the Arabian Peninsula, like, you'll probably subconsciously think Islam, right? You probably would. But like, it's just I don't know what the word to describe it. It's just crazy to me how, like, things were so different. And honestly, the fact that he was able to convert them is even more impressive. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Building your online.
Encouraged by the spreading of his message, Muhammad told his followers to seek shelter in Yathrib. Fleeing persecution in Mecca, the Muslims suffered at the hands of the Quraysh, who seized their property.
So ironic, because Mecca is the holy city in Islam now.
Meaning the migration. Having lost all of their worldly possessions to the Meccans, tired and hungry, the Muslims reached Yathrib with nothing but the clothes on their backs. But their
Humble beginnings,
gave
man.
them a sense of unity and a bond of kinship.
Humble beginnings, man.
With most of his followers now gone, Muhammad's own life was in danger. Reportedly, upon receiving divine direction, he departed for Yathrib on the very night that the Quraysh assassins were on their way to his house.
Bro, he's the main character.
Later be renamed to Madinat an-Nabi, meaning the city of the Prophet, and over time it would be shortened to Medina.
Ah, that's the origins of Medina.
And
Okay.
began to plan raids on Meccan trade caravans that passed Medina. He deemed this action justified after years of brutal persecution by the Quraysh and the confiscation of all property of the Muslims who left Mecca.
Yeah.
Began in 620.
That's the thing about God. The thing about God is a very reasonable God. A very reasonable God. So, and I see a lot of people doing this where they take what God says too literal. Like, for example, thou shalt not kill. Don't kill people, right? I see a lot of cases where people would go and say, oh, you can't kill no one no matter what. And I'm like, bro, that's not what God means when he says thou shalt not kill. Like what he means is don't kill someone out of like for a bad reason. But like some things might happen where you quite frankly have to do that. There's a lot of cases where something happens to you that compels you to do something where, technically speaking, it would be a sin. But, again, God is a very understanding God. So, it just bothers me that I see so many people who just I don't know, like, this should be common sense. But for some reason, I don't know, a lot of people just don't seem to grasp that.
3. With Muslim raids on Meccan caravans. The Quraysh responded, seeing the raids as a threat to their wealth and prestige. Between the many small skirmishes, a network of spies schemed behind the scenes. In early 624, Muhammad's scouts reported that a large trade caravan bound for Syria had left Mecca, led by a leading man of the Quraysh, Abu Sufyan, a sworn enemy of Muhammad.
Muhammad, as long as you're attacking these guys, you're not like attacking like innocent traders. If you're attacking innocent traders, then yeah, that's bad.
The Muslims mobilized a force of some 313 to intercept the Meccans in the narrow valley of Badr. However, Abu Sufyan had spies of his own. While en route, he learned of Muhammad's movements and had diverted the caravan from the main road leading to Syria and headed along the coast of the Red Sea, thereby bypassing the Muslim ambush.
Bro, how did spies? What? Bro, I always ask this question. How did spies relay this information so quickly? Wouldn't this take like a super long time?
Muhammad returned with his host back to Medina, but his scouts soon picked up Abu Sufyan's trail and followed him north.
Like, how do they...
Later, the
How is that possible? How?
caravan conducted...
And then you have to go back and tell Muhammad, hey guys, we're currently following him right now. Like, how? Wouldn't that information, by the time it gets to Muhammad, be too late and it would be outdated? So it wouldn't really matter? Like, it would be inaccurate info? I just don't understand how that works.
In Jerusalem,
But
Damascus,
guys, please, I'm begging someone, please, like, this always confuses me. Like, someone, please answer this question for me.
and other major cities in the area, before making their way back south towards Arabia. Muslim scouts observed that the caravan carried vast riches and rode ahead to Medina to relay the news. But again, Abu Sufyan was prepared. Unbeknownst to the Muslim patrols, he posted his own scouts on the main roads leading south, who had spotted their movements. Knew that Muhammad
So that partially answers my question.
was coming. This time, the Muslims sought to intercept the Meccans further north before they diverted their route away from the road to Syria. But once more, Abu Sufyan sensed danger. He diverted the caravan from the main road, but this time took a different, unknown path.
Oh wow.
He dispatched his fastest rider ahead to seek help from Mecca. The caravan had some 40 armed guards, not enough to protect against the Muslim host. Worse, on the return journey they were slowed down by the many goods and riches, and Abu Sufyan feared he would not be able to evade Muhammad as easily as the last time. In the end, he needed help fast.
Thrive it as a full-service.
Once the rider approached Mecca, he tore his shirt and cut his camel in a few places to raise the sense of urgency in the minds of the Quraysh. He cried out for help, telling the tribal leaders that the caravan is about to be attacked and their wealth looted. Since most of the Quraysh had a share in the caravan, this
God, I see what you did there, History Marsh.
Around 1,300 mobilized and swiftly moved north. In the meantime, Muhammad realized that the caravan had again evaded him, and he marshaled his host south, expecting to locate Abu Sufyan somewhere along the main road that connects Arabia to Syria. However, by this time, the caravan was beyond the reach of the Muslims. Abu Sufyan sent another messenger to report that they were safe. Upon receiving the news, the Meccan army was pleased that their wealth was secure and were eager to turn back. But Amr ibn Hisham, one of the prominent Quraysh chiefs and perhaps the main leader in opposition to Islam, refused to withdraw. In his mind, if they returned home, Meccan prestige would suffer. Furthermore, he argued that Muhammad, with his host of around 300, was expecting to fight a merchant caravan, not 1,300 warriors. Now was the time to catch him by surprise and hunt him down.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Muhammad, public enemy number one. Bro, that's how you know, right? You're on top. Okay? That's how you know you're on top. That like watching this, right? Like watching this, that it just like I can feel. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? I just know that honestly, like, I honestly believe that Muhammad was probably unironically chosen. Like unironically, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Because he's literally living the life of every single chosen one. Okay. He is. He's a lot like me. It's funny. Although most of y'all don't know my life to understand that, but
Clan leaders agreed, but some 300 warriors weren't persuaded and had turned back, while the remaining 1,000 Quraysh pushed on. Meanwhile, marching south along the main road, the Muslim army encamped in the valley of Badr. As the evening drew to a close, a heavy rain brought much relief to the men, exhausted by the long trek. During the night, a messenger arrived, carrying news that the Meccan army is coming. Muhammad and his companions sat around a fire, contemplating their next move. With the Prophet were his top lieutenants, including Hamza and future caliphs Abu Bakr, Umar, and Ali.
Abu Bakr! yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember Abu Bakr. Oh, yeah. Bro, these people had humble beginnings. Bro, these people really had humble beginnings.
A
Wow.
worry on their faces. But then Miqdad, one of the Meccan companions, spoke, urging Muhammad to follow what Allah commands, pledging he will fight alongside the Prophet. Sa'd, a leader from Medina, exclaimed that he would follow Muhammad even into the depths of the sea. The Prophet then uttered to his companions, I can see the death of those disbelievers. The next day, Muslims were ready to sacrifice their lives for Islam. At first light, as the rain subsided, the Meccans began deploying for battle. Water bearers were sent to replenish the water supplies. Little did they know that the Muslims had filled in all of the wells close to the Quraysh camp.
Oh,
A
wow.
move by Muhammad had created a logistical dilemma for Hisham. Without a source of water in the hot Arabian sun, the Meccan army either had to retreat or force a battle.
Ooh, yeah.
The Prophet had chosen his position wisely by setting up his camp atop a sand dune. Although only slightly elevated, from here the Muslim leadership could observe all enemy movements. But more importantly, after the heavy rainfall the night prior, being on slightly elevated ground meant that the soil dried quickly and the troops could move easily. In contrast, the water runoff carried a deluge of sand, dirt and dust from the surrounding rocky outcrops down into the valley, covering the ground around the Meccan position in wet silt. With his camp and army stuck in muddy conditions, and with no water reserves to rely upon, Hisham was outmaneuvered. Muhammad had forced him to fight on his own terms. Aware of his numerical inferiority, the Prophet had arrayed just over 300 of his warriors in 3 lines along the narrowest point in the valley. His host was mostly infantry, with only 2 horses and 70 camels. In stark contrast, Hisham commanded some 1,000 men, including 100 horses and some 170 camels.
Ooh, yeah. 100 horses? I don't like that. That's bad. 100 horses. You could do a lot with 100 horses. I'm just saying, man. I don't like that.
Soon reported on the small Muslim host, adding that there are no additional troops waiting in ambush, which meant that Muhammad and his men would fight to the last. This discouraged some of the Meccan troops, as Arab battles of that period were normally low casualty affairs.
Bro, nah. Nah, they know what's up. They know what's up, bro. I would be discouraged too in any situation. Cause you know, bro, you are a completely different animal when you know you're about to die. Okay? When you know you're about to die, the things that you are capable of doing, bro, they are gonna let loose. I could, yo, oh, they know that they're about to get the smoke.
But Hisham quashed any dissent, appealing to the Quraysh sense of honor. Then, out from the Meccan ranks came a warrior, Aswad, swearing that he would drink from the well near the Muslim camp or die for it. Accepting the challenge, Hamza, one of Muhammad's uncles, stepped forward. As the two
I swear, it's always a 1v1. 1v1 me, bruh.
began fighting, Hamza dealt a blow to Aswad's leg, before quickly striking again to finish him off.
Oh, Hamza! Show 'em what's up, man.
Enraged, 3 prominent Quraysh noblemen, Utbah, known for his skill and ferocity, his brother Shayba, and his son Al-Walid, came forth from the Meccan line, clad in armor and wearing shields. On the Muslim side, 3 Ansar from Medina answered the challenge.
But I love these freaking 1v1s. Oh my god, dude. This is amazing.
But the Quraysh refused to fight them. Their quarrel was not with them, they said, but with the Muhajirun, the first converts to Islam. They wanted to fight Muhammad's kin and his closest advisors. Muhammad's uncle Hamza stepped out once more. So did his
Hamza is not afraid. Hamza is not afraid. Nah, bro. Bro, Hamza the type of dude. Hamza the type of dude that'll look at someone and say, "I'll kill you, bro," and he'll just reply with, "We'll see." Bro, that's the type of energy that I get from Hamza right now.
Ubaidah and Ali. With his first thrust, Ali cut down Al-Walid.
Bro, I'm telling you, plot armor. They got, bro. Freaking Allah is the author, and these people are the main character.
Seconds later, Hamza got the best of Shayba. However, Ubaidah was mortally wounded in the duel, his leg severed at the knee. But
Bloody hell.
Shayba could deal the killing blow on the Muslim champion. Hamza charged and struck him across the neck.
Yeah, like, come on, like. I mean, bro, like, yeah, just like you're gonna kill each other. Like, it's like, yeah, just do that. Like, you basically won anyways.
Ali and Hamza then dragged their kinsman back to the Muslim line, where he drew his last breath. Anger.
Bro, how were swords able to cut people's legs off? Like, how sharp? Bro, do you know how hard the human bone is? Like, people tend to underestimate how hard your bone is, bro. Your bone's kind of comparable to a freaking metal. Like, how the hell do you cut that off?
With the poor showing in the duels, Hisham decided to put the Meccan strength in numbers to use by advancing on the Muslim line. Muhammad stood in the front ranks with the men, surrounded by his closest companions. The first Muslim line lowered their spears and shields, forming a phalanx-like formation.
Alexander the Great! Alexander the Great! Alexander the Great spirit is with you. Allah is blessing you with Alexander the Great spirit. Bloody hell, man.
The first Meccan wave was the fiercest. Quraysh cavalry attempted to break through the flanks, while Muhammad's outnumbered center gave ground. But they managed to absorb the shock of the Quraysh charge.
Wow.
The Prophet sent reinforcements to the flanks to prevent a possible breakthrough. As the stalemate dragged on, exhaustion took hold, and a brief lull in the fighting offered respite to the two armies. Knowing he outnumbered the Muslims 3-1, Hisham ordered the Meccans forward for a second time, eager to grind down Muhammad's host. Despite being aware that they cannot win a battle of attrition against an enemy 3 times their number, the Muslims closed rank and fought on with determination.
You're fighting till the
The
end.
narrow pass between the towering ridges on each side. This time Muhammad's line held firm, and yet again the momentum of the Meccan assault was exhausted. The lull in the fighting allowed the Meccans to regroup, while the fresh Muslim troops from the second and third line moved up to replace their fallen comrades in the front. Then came the third Quraysh assault. In the frantic struggle, exhausted men struggled to stay on their feet. The fighting swayed back and forth as
Wilhelm scream.
warriors fell to swords and spears, but the Muslims held the enemy at bay. Despite possessing cavalry and a larger and better armed force, the Meccans were turned back yet again. Sensing that the enemy's will to fight was broken, Muhammad signaled to his faithful to ready their arms and charge the Meccans.
That's crazy, bro.
Nor match the determination of the Muslims, Hisham's men routed. During the pursuit, most of the Meccans managed to flee, while some were captured. The symbolic end to the encounter came when Hisham's head was brought before the Prophet, who gazed upon his former pagan enemy and said, "This is the Pharaoh of this nation." While a single battle did not earn Muhammad a reputation of a conqueror, this was his first major victory. The Battle of Badr has been described as one of the most important battles in Islamic history, and for
The most important battle in Islamic history.
good reason. Its outcome transformed the Muslims from a marginal religious movement to political contenders on the western coast of Arabia. Muhammad's position and authority was solidified in Medina, giving him the wherewithal to undermine his opponents within the city-state. At the same time, the power and influence of the Quraysh of Mecca was significantly reduced. But Abu Sufyan would continue the fight against Islam, and the Battle of Badr would be the start of a 6-year-long war between the Muslims and the Quraysh.
That's crazy, man.
Thanks to Hikmah history for doing.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Now this is a series I actually love to continue. Okay? Because I learned a lot. Look, man, I gotta go to work, so I'm not even gonna like talk too much. All I'm gonna say is, if you got any suggestions, go comment down below. I have an announcement video coming soon, sometime this week. Very important, so go look out for that if you're an active viewer of my channel. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, if you like what I have to say, go subscribe. Okay, like, come on, you made it all the way till the end. And go check out my other Islamic history reactions, because I have a bunch of Islamic. In fact, I have a bunch of. You wanna know what I need to start doing? I need to like diverge a bit and like start reacting to other like cultural aspects. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that I really. Some of y'all have made me done it, which is cool. Okay, diverge a bit from the history stuff, because I would love to learn a bit more about culture. But anyways, point is, like the video, okay, so that my video stays on the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching. Okay, goodbye.